Hey guys and girls, hello there. Today I want to wake up a little bit of your imagination, right? So this is going to be really easy content for today. No philosophy, not too much into technical details, just a little bit of geek fun. So let's get into it immediately, right? Okay. I am here on my Debian 13 wannabe installation, so let's get and log in. Okay, so what you can see immediately is that my prompt looks a little bit odd, right? And the reason for that is that I'm using the ZSH agnoster theme from my ZSH framework, right? Here, you can check it out yourself. Yeah, the agnoster theme is using the Powerline fonts, right? And you can't really get Powerline fonts into the text console because, well, you could, but you need patched fonts and the installation is not that straightforward, yeah? And the end result is usually not that worth it of your manual effort. Of course, everything is worth the manual effort if you are having fun, right? That's what computers are for, having fun. However, I am here today to offer you a slightly different solution to this problem. And this is basically using the Framebuffer terminal on Linux. This has been many years project, right, that Debian has taken over the development, I think roughly 5 years ago. And if I have researched into it properly, I think it was kind of abandoned 2 years before that. So Debian is kind of maintaining this right now. And in order to get the Framebuffer terminal, you're just gonna type the classic apt command to get it. So there you have it. You already have the latest version of Framebuffer terminal installed. So just go ahead and start it from your TTY console, right? We are currently in TTY 3. Okay, I have already prepared the command to launch it, and I wish to launch it with the same font and the same size that I'm using right now in the regular text console, right? So in theory, you should not be able to notice anything that has changed, right? But do pay attention to my blue prompt. Okay, now my blue prompt is properly functioning, right? So let's go ahead and go to, I don't know, let's go to edit. So you can see how my prompt is changing, right? Let's go to init. You can see how my prompt is changing, right? Let's go back to the normal text console just to spot the difference. Okay, we are in edit, init, but you can see how the power line arrows are not really functioning, right? Okay, back to the Framebuffer terminal, right? The reason why I have even started researching into this is because lately I have started learning programming, and one thing led to another, and I think I have already spoken about this in a different video, but my voyage with learning programming has somehow taken me to the let's say a situation where I'm mostly programming on my server. And the way I do that, I SSH into my server, and basically I do all my programming there. So I leave everything running in Tmax, and you know, that's where it stays. When I go to a different computer, I just, you know, SSH into there, attach my Tmax, and continue where I left off. When I do this from my X session or my Wayland session, doesn't matter, it's the same thing from this perspective. I get all the benefits of the powerful modern terminals, right? So all of these squiggly lines and stuff like that, all of these magic fonts with geek fonts, nerd fonts, everything works in X. But over the time, it seems like when I go outside, like when I'm doing some idle stuff and I take out my laptop out side of my house and do a little bit of programming catch up, it somehow feels that I'm wasting my battery on my X session. It's not a huge waste of battery, having an X session idle, but it feels like I could save a little bit of power, because if you're now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that you need to do this and you need to save every bit of battery. It's just that when you have a smaller, older battery, you actually do want to get a little bit more mileage out of it while you are out and about. And if you really aren't using the graphical session at all, but just having a terminal in full screen, then why not save a little bit of battery and get 1 more hour, maybe, hopefully, by simply turning off things that you are not currently using, right? Once again, not saying that you should not use X. Of course, X has absolute purpose in our lives, but when you're so focused on the terminal session only, then you can do that from the actual terminal. However, the actual terminal that comes shipped with Linux is it's a little bit lacking in some of these things, like fonts, for example. One other thing, for example, let's list the contents of etc folder. Okay, so we have our etc folder here. Let's go ahead and list, maybe, I don't know, list the another folder, etc network. Okay, so what is happening on my screen right now is that things are being drawn on the screen, and what is extra is going out of the screen, right? So once upon a time, Linux had this functionality where you could press something like Shift and Page Up, and you could scroll back in your virtual terminal, right? But at some point, Linus Torvalds put it out of the kernel. We no longer have this functionality. I have been told that it was broken and it was necessary to remove it. I don't know the actual truth behind this. I'm just stating the fact that we no longer have this functionality, right? So if you would be using the Framebuffer terminal, then you just might as well press Shift and go, page up, page up, page up, and you get your functionality back, because this is no longer the Linux regular terminal, but the Framebuffer terminal, which has some extra benefits to it, right? One of the major benefits being that you can use the X fonts of sorts. Yeah, I mean, not the ones, not the fonts used by the regular text console, but the fonts that you use in the terminal emulators on X. So pretty much you can use any font that you like to rise up everything that is happening here, right? If you type, I don't know, Midnight Commander, you will get it in all of its colors, glory, right? And etc. And for the end, I just wanted to show you something quite cool. You all know the MPV software for playing video files, right? So if you direct MPV onto a YouTube URL, what is basically going to happen is that you're going to get, let me just switch back to full screen for a short time. Basically, you're going to get a video in your text console, right, in your Framebuffer, but the reason why it didn't show up in the actual capture that I have is it only shows up on your main screen, and I wasn't really expecting that, but it is what it is. You can see that it works. So yeah, that's about it for today's video. It's really short, as I promised, and I hope I have awakened some of your imagination. There is more to the Framebuffer terminal. I invite you to read the documentation, maybe set a wallpaper on your text console, and you might just find some hidden secrets that I haven't spoken about. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.